The history of astronomy. Mesopotamians 5000 to 3500 BC. They also built ziggurats or observatories to help them observe the seven celestial bodies. The Mesopotamians also kept track of yearly cycles, created minutes, created leap years, and also created the 12 zodiac constellations.
Egyptians 5000 to 3000 BC. The Egyptians used astronomy to develop calendars to predict the Nile flood and also to align temples and pyramids. The Great Pyramids were aligned to cardinal points north, south, east, west. We know little about them.
Stonehenge, 2500 to 2400 BC. Was once an ancient burial ground, yet we know little about it.
The Chinese in the 13th century. The Chinese made observations of eclipses for as long as 2,600 years. They recorded up to 900 solar eclipses and 600 lunar eclipses. They also observed comets and guest stars.
Thales 611 to 545 BC. He was a Greek philosopher born around 624 BC. He could predict solar eclipses and was taught by Egyptians to calculate height by shadows and calculate the distance of a ship at sea.
Pythagoras, 569 to 479 BC. He was an ancient Greek mathematician and philosopher who was one of the most influential men in all of history. He believed that everything revolved around math.
Aristotle 384 to 322 BC. As a student of Plato, he modified the Exodus model to include more concentric spheres. He helped determine the Earth's shape by using the shadow the Earth casts on the moon during an eclipse.
Aristarchus 310 to 230 BC. Proved geometry can help determine the distance of the moon and relative sizes of the moon and sun.
Eratosthenes, 276 to 194 BC. He is known for his mathematical calculations and the geographic name beta, which is the second letter of the alphabet.
Hipparchus 190 to 127 BC. He was a Greek astronomer who discovered the precession of the equinoxes.
Mayans 1000 to 2000 years ago. They created the calendar that kept track of the sun, moon, and rising of Venus.
Ptolemy, 100 to 170. Ptolemaic system is a mathematical model of the universe formulated by the Alexandrian astronomer.
Arabs and Muslims 700 to 1200 AD. The Muslims used a lost tradition of astronomical learning, and the Muslim also helped determine the beginning and end of the month.
Copernicus 1473 to 1543 AD. Born February 19th, 1473, died May 24th, 1543, Renaissance mathematician and astronomer, placed the sun in center, not Earth.
Galileo, 1564 to 1642 AD. He used the telescope to observe the Milky Way and find craters on the moon.
Kepler, 1571 to 1630 AD. He discovered gravitational pull between the Earth and Sun. Isaac Newton, 1642 to 1727 AD. Newton created the laws of motion and relativity, law of force, reaction, and action. Edmund Halley, 1656 to 1742 AD. Halley predicted the orbit of the comet. Einstein, 1879 to 1962 AD. Einstein created the theory of relativity. Niels Bohr, 1885 to 1958 AD. Niels Bohr was a professor of psychology at Copenhagen University. He invented the Bohr model for the atom, that energy levels of electrons are discrete and the electron's revolution stable or orbits around an atomic nucleus. Wolfgang Pauli, 1900 to 1958 AD. He discovered the Pauli exclusion principle. Werner Heisenberg, 1901 to 1976 AD. Werner Heisenberg created the uncertainty principle. Edwin Hubble, 1889 to 1933 AD. Edwin Hubble proved that other galaxies existed. George Lemaitre, 1894 to 1966 AD. George Lemaitre came up with the Big Bang Theory. Robert Oppenheimer, 1904 to 1967 AD.
Oppenheimer helped with the Manhattan Project and also helped create the atomic bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Fred Hoyle, 1915 to 2001 AD. He believed that the universe will and always will be. He also helped develop nucleosynthesis. Penzias and Wilson, 1957 AD. Penzias and Wilson helped discover the cosmic background energy, also known as the static electricity that you'll find on your TV without a signal.